Now we will start the history taking part. Okay. So there is one video in the recording which is about the history taking in general aspects. So 7 points for history taking, 11 points for history taking. Today we will do something more specific. Okay. History taking for depression clients, right? Remember, for any and every condition, do not call it mental condition, psychological condition. There is a taboo involved. Always call a friendly word emotional turbulence, right? It looks good. Sometimes the client may come to you and come with a diagnosis. Ma'am, I have ADHD, depression, autism, all those things. You ask, what is your symptom? Right? So always focus on the symptoms which the client is going through. And then ask the client whether they are under medications. Are they seeing some psychiatrist, visiting a psychiatrist? Before you start the history taking, everyone write down what is the most important quality of a psychology counselor. The most important quality, according to you. Write down. Listening, smiling, empathy, good listener, smile, good listener, empathy, good listener, listener, smile, smile, smile. Okay. So, patience, okay, not getting affected. Yeah, that is very important. But if you are empathetic, then you may get affected. If you are oversensitive, you may get affected, right? So it is the number one best quality of a counselor is smile. If you have a smiling face, if you are smiling, 50% of the client's problems are solved. They meet you, they talk to you, they see you as a cheerful person, and they feel good. They don't know why they feel good, but they feel good. So they want to visit you again. Okay. When you're listening to them, don't be judgmental and also ask some questions so that it shows that you are engaging them and they answer certain things, right? Don't be like, Sometimes some counselors, under the presumption that they are a good listener, they are like, what stupid face, smile, right? And don't be like, just to show that you're listening. Not a good idea. To show that you are listening, the good idea is asking them questions, the relevant question. If they tell you their story, you remember their name in the stories, remember the places, remember the instances, then ask them the story. Okay. Always start with the name, occupation, what is their qualification profile, socio-economic dynamics, education background, and work background of the client. Right? Then ask, what is the issue going on? What is the emotional turbulence? What is the problem you are facing? So they may come up with a diagnosis. So you say, yeah, that is a diagnosis. Tell me, what are the symptoms you are having? So focus on the symptoms, right? Because this anxiety, stress, depression, these are all superficial things. They're happening because of some underlying emotional trauma. You need to find out. Then you start asking, what was the timeline you are having? How frequently it happens? What are the trigger factors? Okay. So we'll go systematically now. So what are the trigger factors you are having? Okay. Then you try to find out what is the root cause. What is the emotional trauma you had? Now, from the history, you may be able to probably find out what is the root cause, what is the emotional trauma. But to heal the emotional trauma, you need to apply certain advanced techniques for that. The name of techniques are mentioned in the book, but they are covered in the syllabus of a separate program. If you wish to go for that program, you can talk to me separately. Everyone, now there is assignment for everyone. Next 5 minutes, take up your diary and pen. Or if you're a tech-savvy person, you can use your mobile. Okay. So write down all the balls, all the symbols, or all the signs, symptoms. Okay. 10, 15, 20, which you can, on a half piece of paper. So you have a paper on the half part. You will write down all the signs, symptoms, symbols, associations related to, or the words which a client will speak related to depression. Okay. So what you will do, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So like that, without numbering them. Low confidence, low self-esteem, low mood, sleep disturbance, eating more, eating less, irritable, not paying attention, not finding interest, not finding pleasure, no hobby, not combing hair, not having bath, neglecting personal hygiene, right? Neglecting relationships, not interacting socially, social withdrawal, all those things. So what you're doing is you are kind of making circles, the balloons, okay, or the clouds, right? So what will this you will do? You are creating your worksheet now today, right? And when the client comes to you, ask, okay, tick mark all the things you are facing, you are having, right? So first you ask the open question to the client. What are the issues you have? Client may tell 3, 4. They will forget 5 things. So you are helping them remember this through this worksheet. So write down everything. If you first you try writing down, then I will help you. Mood swings. Okay, very good. So good points. So what you will do, this worksheet you are preparing. On the top of that, write your name. In the worksheet, top right corner of the worksheet, you write client name, okay, and date, right? So what you will do next time you get a client, you will write down the client's name and the date, and you will ask the client what are the things, which of these words that relate to you, okay? So sometimes you don't need to use the word signs, symptoms. Client may not understand. So use which of these words. You can make this worksheet in your own language. So first session you use this. You get a fair idea what are the symptoms the client is going through. Okay. Now the next point, you will ask the client, what are the trigger factors? Do you feel depressed throughout the month, or there are certain days in a month when you feel depressed? If the answer is yes, there are certain days when I feel depressed. Does it happen that you feel depressed for a few days and you feel elevated for a few days? Yeah. So if the answer for this second is yes, feel depressed for a few days and feel good again for a few days, okay, then in that case, there is another diagnosis, bipolar disorder. The management becomes different then. Okay. So as in that, as of now, the client we have is the pure depression client. Depression can be throughout, depression can be seasonal also, right? Even if it is a bipolar, then still the depressive phase has to be managed from the counseling perspective, similar lines. Okay. The hypomania and mania we will see in some other class. Okay. So what are the trigger factors? What happens in your life when you feel normal or when you feel good and suddenly it becomes downtrend, when you start feeling down? So you may say that what are the trigger factors? Client may not understand. So you need to explain them. What is the meaning of trigger factor? Okay. So rephrase it in 2, 3 different ways. Then the client may give their stories, some trigger factors, some examples. Okay. Don't ever say to the client, no, this is a very minor thing. You should not feel bad with that. It happens with everyone. It happens with me also. Yeah, no one cares what happens with you, how you feel. The client cares for client. You are not important. The client is important. And the client is feeling disturbed at the low mood after some trigger. So the trigger is important. You cannot invalidate. So never invalidate the client's feeling. Never say, no, it is not important. Yeah, it is important. Yeah, okay. So you note down the trigger factors. Now, some of the trigger factors client may not come up. You can first you listen, then you can tell. It can be new project coming up, new responsibility, or lack of affection by someone you love, or less social interaction during that particular week, loss of work, or maybe some stomach ache, gastric upset, or some body pain, or particular months of your cycle, right? Particular days of your cycle. So tell me whatever your trigger factors, right? Also, this opportunity you use for identifying, are there underlying medical history? Is there underlying medical history? Are you taking some medication from a psychiatrist? Or depression, which are the common medical conditions? The most common? Very good. So people are saying that, very good. They are going to type now. Hypothyroidism. So have you evaluated yourself for hypothyroidism? So take menopause. Wow, very good. That is another very important. Okay. Middle-aged parents, children living for further education or job. So that can also lead to, okay, low vitamin D. Postpartum, very good. That is very important. Okay. So weak gut. Okay, why? Because there is a gut-brain linkage. Okay. So serotonin is secreted in the gut. So you need to have a strong gut. When you say strong gut, it means good diet, prebiotics, probiotics, and all those things. Right? These are trigger factors. Okay. Now, these trigger factors can be 6 things. What are those 6 things? We'll see. Very systematic, we'll see now. Okay. So what are those 6 things which are trigger factors? It can be a place, right? It can be associated with a certain place. It can be an object. It can be person, some event, right? Particular time, and certain circumstances. Okay, right? So if you see that this triggers, one more thing, so events and circumstances both are same. The 6th component is thoughts, negative thoughts, right? So experiences, circumstances, events we will consider as one. Good point, Dr. Elia. Thoughts. So if you see these trigger factors, you can divide into 2 components. One is external factor and second is internal. So what are your internal? Internal will be health and thoughts, right? We'll come to the thoughts later. Now this external can be person, time, event, circumstances, or place, or certain things, right? Internal factors, the health that you evaluate with your doctor and get it done and you support that. This number 2, which is very important from the counseling perspective, is the thought. Now these thoughts can be on 2 types. One, thoughts based on rational things. There is a reason for the belief, right? Thoughts which are baseless. There is no reason. That is just a worry. That is an anxiety. That is a fear. Out of fear, out of that anxiety, out of that baseless thought, you are getting afraid and you are feeling depressed, right? You are surrounded with your family. Everyone loves you, but you feel neglected. You think that no one loves you because you are depressed. And because you think no one loves you, you again feel low mood, right? So that's a cycle which is happening. But scenario is different. Okay. They might be busy in their own life, so may not be able to express their love as they used to, but they still love you. Okay. So the thoughts, these negative thoughts are far more damaging, right? So you, now what you do, next step is you ask, which are your thoughts, the trigger thoughts, which leads to you feeling low mood. Okay. Then the client will write down 4, 5, 3, 4 thoughts. Okay, 5, 6 thoughts. Then each thought, you discuss the thought process. Then you discuss each thought. whether this thought is based on certain, is there some valid proof? Is there some base to have this thought? Or this thought is baseless, right? So you ask the client, okay, don't never challenge it. Okay, you ask the client, what is the reason that you believe this thought, or this thought is some without reason, you are just worrying it. Okay, be sincere with me. See, there is nothing you need to prove to me. I'm not judgmental. I'm not going to validate you or judge you. So you can be truthful. Okay, be truthful to so that I can help you. So client may sometimes say, yeah, there is a reason to have this belief. Yeah, there is no reason. I'm just having worry. I'm just having this fear. Okay, so you find out. Once you find out, these thoughts are very damaging. Okay, once you find out that this particular thoughts are leading to their downward mood, okay, then you tell them the action plan. So you come to the next step is action plan. So action plan is going to be, now for the action plan, there are around 50, I think, tips in the book. Okay, right? So those tips include lifestyle, exercise, maintaining worksheet, or this journal, food, finding a new hobby, learning new skill, language, or anything, all those things, right? So these are the activities, but you need to tell also them what they should do about their thought process. Okay, so that comes the cognitive behavior therapy, right? Now there is a problem with the cognitive behavior therapy. Everyone stop writing. Everyone stop writing, pay attention. Now you have a client who's depressed or having negative thoughts. Okay, that is causing low mood. Depression. This depression is causing negative thoughts. If you tell this client, no, you stop negative thoughts, you have good thoughts. These are the list of your 10 thoughts you have. Do you think a client has a motivation will to do that? They don't have, right? That's why CBT fails. Okay. Sometimes what happens is in CBT, you give client some worksheet. You say, okay, this is your worksheet for Monday, this is Tuesday, this is Friday. What you do before meeting me next time, you have to finish this assignment. And the client is, yes, ma'am. I will definitely finish the assignment and will never visit you. So the client will run away. They will block your number. They will not come to you because they're afraid now. Oh my God, if next time I have to face you, I have to submit the assignment. They never submitted their assignment in the school and colleges. You as a counselor never submitted your assignment in school and colleges. Half the people in this audience did not write the assignment which I gave you today, that making your worksheets. And you are telling your depressed client to make the assignment? Wow, not going to work. Okay, so that's why the CBT, where the CBT will work, when you have a highly motivated, highly encouraged client. Okay, the client really wants to come out of depression, right? But so someone who is going through depressive phase, they are not willing to do anything. They are not willing to come out of their bed. Okay, so if you tell someone like, okay, you are poor, stop being poor, start earning money. Yeah, I will do it. Yes, right now I will do it. Yes. But you're not told them how. You're not equipped them. Yeah, they have certain barriers. You're not removed their barrier. So the next step is barrier. Okay. So you ask, what are your barriers for the action? So you have decided that these are the activities you will do, right? Or these are the activities I'm suggesting you from the book, 20 to 50 steps. But most of these activities or some of these activities will have certain barrier. Or you tell me which activity you want to do to feel good, right? So someone say, sometimes the clients, they are funny. They say, yeah, I want to drink alcohol to feel good. So you say, that is a negative coping mechanism. So I will come for negative coping mechanism and positive coping mechanism. Okay, that's not the way. So the good coping mechanism are certain things which I'm telling you, my dear. Okay. So for this, there are going to be certain barriers. So now you find out which are those barriers. You help the client remove those barriers. Write down on the paper. Don't tell the client to write down on the paper. If you are a counselor who is so lazy that you don't like writing, on behalf of a client, do you think that your depressed client will go home, right? They will never do that. Okay. So if you're a rich counselor, you will always help the client write down. If they are not writing, allow them to speak. You write down. Treat them like a friend, treat them like a child going through certain depression phase or emotional turbulence. Never say the word going through mental condition, psycho condition. Okay. Say they are going through emotional turbulence, because that is a friendly word. So people like, okay, someone shouts at you, like, so someone, you are in office, someone shouts at you, or your boss shouts at you. You come back from the room and you say to everyone, psycho, not a good. You should say going through emotional turbulence, right? So that feels good. Even if your boss hears, your boss will be, yeah, I'm going through emotional turbulence. Can you help me with that? So then you can probably do marriage counseling and psychology counseling both, because 50% of the problems happen because of those who are married. They are given their answers silently inside their mind because they don't want their spouse to hear it. Because the boys who are attending the classes, they are afraid that their spouse is still tracking them. Not with me, not with me. This hopeless people, not with me. Okay, I have all the freedom. I'm not being tracked, except my phone. No, nothing. Huh. Any questions till now? So what are the points you learned today? So what we are doing today is we are trying to note down or kind of make a worksheet to help the client answer for your counseling. Have a systematic structure counseling for a depression client. Okay. Write down the points which you learned till now. Those who are not writing, you know what is your diagnosis. It starts from D. D for depression. It also starts from H. Very good. Symptom adjectives. Oh, wow. I like that word. Okay. So the words which you associate your feelings with. Very good. So you have made the balls, you have made the clouds, okay, on the worksheet, right? Then you ask the client, which of these words relate to you? Wow, that's good. Okay. Side effect medicine, trigger factors. That is very important. Which are the trigger factors? Then trigger factor can be external circumstances and internal. Internal can be the medical conditions, or it can be negative thoughts. Very good. Timeline, thoughts, trigger factors. Very good. Barriers. That is very important. Okay. So before barrier, activities. So you are suggesting the client, you do these things. Okay. Out of these things, don't dictate the client, do these 10 things. They are like, yes, I will do it. No, you ask which of this you want to do it this week, which of you want to do next month or this month. Okay. We will go as per your timeline. I don't want you to follow my time. We'll follow your timeline and your comfort. Then you ask, what are their barriers to do that? Okay. Smile. That is a very important thing. Very good. Treat them as a friend. Help them write the things. Don't tell them, yeah, write down. And when they are talking, don't be that. Okay. Be someone who talks. Very good. Find the root cause. Now, when you found, now there are two things. One is a trigger and the other is a root cause. Okay. Very good. Coping mechanism. So before coming to the root cause, we see the coping mechanism. So there are two types of coping mechanism. Positive coping mechanism and negative coping mechanism. Okay. So negative coping mechanism are binge drinking, binge watching, aggressive behavior, being irritable all the time, shouting on people, binge shopping, okay, not isolating yourself. That is also coping mechanism, right? These are the some substance abuse. Yes, very good. Thank you for the word. And So there are so many negative coping mechanisms. Whatever the coping mechanism that affects blaming others, very important. What are the coping mechanisms that affect your functional life, that makes you dysfunction in the life? These are negative coping mechanisms. Positive coping mechanism are simple examples. You isolate yourself and you study for some competitive exam, or you focus on project. Okay. So you have isolated yourself because you were depressed. You don't want to interact. You are having anxiety when you are interacting socially. But you're utilizing this solitude to focus on learning new skill. Right? You have anxiety for certain thing, that something will go wrong. But before that something goes wrong, you are taking proactive measures to prevent that. Okay. So these are the coping mechanisms. Very good. So anyone, what are the other positive coping mechanisms? Very good. Learning new skills, involving news, taking a break, involving exercise, gardening, okay, running, walking, new language, new skill, new hobby, painting, whatever you like, sports, talking to a friend, and complaining about your spouse and all those things, complaining about your manager to the friend. Okay, very good. So gossiping about your in-laws, your mother-in-law. Yeah, that comes under a positive coping mechanism. Very important, huh? So gossip is the most important positive coping mechanism. Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes the client pays you because they cannot gossip to others. So they will pay you, ma'am, I just want to talk. And you start listening and they're like, oh, this is a gossip. And you are like, you are also enjoying because you can relate with your in-law also. Yeah. So, but don't start your gossip. So just you are paid for listening to the gossip. You are not paid for starting your own gossip. Okay. You are like, yeah, I agree with you. Okay. So don't be like, no, your in-law is good. You should say, yeah, I agree with you. Okay. And don't relate with your in-law. Don't bring your in-law in this. So developing a new hobby, very good. So from today onwards, all the psychology books, they are going to add most important positive coping mechanism is gossiping about in-laws. Very good. Okay, gossiping about your partner, you about your manager at a workplace. Okay, so that is a good coping mechanism you should develop. Yes. Okay, and that's what people like. Next. Right. Okay. Oh, that's great. Questions. We'll take 2 minutes for the questions. So everyone stop writing. There are some people who have fallen from the chair because they were laughing so loudly. Get up in the chair, sit down, have a drink of water. I mean, cup of whatever is water, glass of water. Having goal of purpose, big thing. Okay, a depressed client, they don't want to brush, they don't want to comb, they don't want to do anything. But yes, that's a start. So Namita, I like your idea. So what you can tell the client, in next 6 months, we will have an objective. With my help, I will help you find some goal. I will help you find your purpose. Now, why this is they are not able to do? Because they had that emotional trauma, right? All the emotional turbulence going on in life, anxiety, stress, depression, low confidence, low self-esteem, they are because of certain emotional traumas. Trigger are something that you feel normal or good. Something happens, someone says you something and you have a trigger. That is one. But when did we started? You were not born depressed. You were not born anxious. It started when? Timeline. Go back. So the client may relate, okay, teenager, adolescent, 18 years after marriage, before marriage, after child, after losing a job, after finding a job, after having a breakup, all those things. Okay. Now, so that is the timeline for the root cause. Now you try to find out what was the reason, what happened during that time. And you may find out that there are a bunch of stories. Okay. There are a bunch of emotional traumas. So the traumas are of three types. We will see in next class. What are the three types of trauma? So you need to heal certain traumas. So what you will do now to heal emotional traumas, what you need to do, you will need to find out, number one, what is the root cause of the emotional trauma? Which were the things, circumstances that lead to emotional traumas? Then you will need to use some psychotherapy techniques to heal those root cause, to heal those emotional traumas. Now, these emotional traumas, just a second. These emotional traumas, in what language they are written in your mind? They are written in the language of images. They are written in the language of neural synapses. Okay, neural synapses. So what you need to do is you need to do neuroplasticity. In psychotherapy program with NSCA, you learn all those things. So how to find out root cause, how to find emotional trauma, how to do neuroplasticity. When you do neuroplasticity, you change the images. You replace the bad images with a good one. You replace the traumatic memory with good memory. Sometimes you erase the traumatic memory. There are techniques for erasing traumatic memory. Then through psychotherapy techniques, you change the neuronal connections, neuronal synapses, and it happens. Okay. At a molecular level, it happens. Right. So if you wish to learn those advanced techniques, if you wish to enroll for that program, you can talk to me separately. Rewiring, you can call it. Okay, fine. And more than 50% of the syllabus of psychotherapy, that is our copyright. So it's not available externally. If you wish to learn the techniques itself by demo, by observing the demo, you can talk to me. Questions? Okay, before you start shooting the questions, everyone stop writing. All those people who said, no, sir, I don't have that condition in me. You read the schizophrenia chapter tonight. You will find out there are certain symptoms. And then you ask the client one question. You ask, do you think you are normal? Do you think you have the symptoms? If the client says no, it means diagnosis is maybe possible. There is a schizophrenia. Okay. So all those people who said, no, sir, I don't have symptoms, they are going to read schizophrenia chapter today to find out, do they have it? Okay. But even if that, after that, you say no, good, very good. Either you are confirmed schizophrenia or either you are confirmed normal. Either one of the two things is there. Okay. Your mood is good. So they will keep some happy DP. And then suddenly they are depressed. So they will remove the DP. My God. Okay. Then suddenly one day they will DP visible to no one. Your diagnosis is bipolar disorder. Do you know the diagnosis? Yeah. And then there are some who are like DP removed. DP removed, but intimate photos there on WhatsApp status, visible to everyone. Intimate photos on Instagram. You know your diagnosis is bipolar disorder plus manic episode. You are going through manic episode. So don't be that person. Okay. Save the number, keep the DP visible. If you don't want to put your face, you can put some photo or something, whichever you like. Okay, some picture, mountain, scene or something. Okay. Okay, Dimple, we will take that later. Okay, wait, read. Any questions? So nice of you, Arun. So this painting, this one, This painting is part of this book, right? And this one is part of marriage counseling book. Yes. For those who are not written the number, I'm sending it on this chat. So what we learned, you read this today itself. Okay. Don't wait for next week. Next week will be new thing to read. And the worksheet which we have made today, make it in your own local language. If you know 2-3 languages, if you think that 2-3 language clients approach you, you can make in that language. If you think that your clients are educated, they know English, comfortable with these words, you can use the English language. Okay. If you follow these steps, I assure you, your client will love you. Okay. They like you because you have a smiling face, because you're talking to them, you're listening them, you're asking questions, you are telling them some tips. They like you, but they will love you when they see you are such a systematic approach. Okay. So you're trying to find the adjectives, the symptoms, the words, the synonyms, the words that reflect with their feeling. Okay. You are not calling them mental condition, psychological condition. You are using the word emotional turbulence. Then you are asking which are the days, timeline, trigger factors. You're talking of emotional trauma. You're talking of healing them. You are giving them a realistic timeline. You are telling them you come back again. You are giving them certain things to do, certain assignments, but you are not forcing them, right? You are giving them freedom. Okay, if you wish, you can do. If you don't wish, still okay. You can still come to me. Okay, right? And before the client goes, remember to give them next date when they have to visit you. Don't be like, okay, go. Okay, you come whenever you know. No, you discuss now, may find out which is your date, which is the client's date, fix the calendar. Okay. Questions? Please ask questions related to topic today. Those there are some questions related to child and parent. We'll take it later in subsequent sessions. Oh, I like that dimples thing. People come on Google, read on Google, and come with complicated questions. Very good. So you ask from where you found this question. They will say, I did a research on Google. So you tell, okay, I will also do the research on Google. Then I will tell you this answer next time. Okay. So in the meanwhile, you can read the book. Most of the answers there in the book. Okay. And sometimes the clients, those who ask complicated questions, so they know the answer. So good part is you ask, can you tell me what is the answer? You tell me what is the research you have done. Tell me the answer. So they will feel good. Wow, I have done such a strong reason that ma'am is learning from me. Yeah. Bache. Okay, we are the principal, but you tell what you read. Okay, so you tell them that yes, very good research. So at least in their life, someone has appreciated to make them feel wow, good. So it will release their dopamine for 1 minute. Any questions? Now is the time. So now you can send the questions or any points you want to write. I have reactivated the chat. You can again send. Procrastination, laziness, depression. Okay. Many people think that procrastination is because you are not motivated. No. Procrastination is because you have a barrier. Either it is emotional barrier or it's actual physical barrier. Okay. To do certain things. You are afraid of doing something, certain thing, because you are afraid of the outcome. Okay. So And that's why you're procrastinating. Or maybe you do not know how to do it. That's why you're procrastinating. So you try to remove the barrier. Okay, Dr. Ali, very good point. So that's the delusion. That's a classic definition of delusion, right? Okay, then you want to remove, you want to find out what are the associated other differential diagnosis for this particular client. So there is no magic. So client will come to you, they talk to you, you tell them certain things. Suddenly, something is not going to change. It will take 1 month, 3 months. It may take 5 sessions, 10 sessions. If you are really hopeless, 20 sessions. Okay. So this is going to take time. So you tell this client, right? You meet me frequently. In next 3 months, 6 months, you will have 50% benefit. The client will say, what about 100%? Yeah, it will come. Yeah. 1 year, 10 years, next life, 100 years, it will come. 100% is not going to happen. And you should not have aspiration. Even if you feel 50% good, what you are here today, if you feel here, still good. Still you are one, right? And that should be our aspiration. Those who aspire for perfection, they never do anything. Okay. So procrastination, one of the reasons is perfection, right? They're always trying to aspire for perfection. They don't do anything. We'll take some of the questions later. Today, we are not able to meet for intense class because I'm not able to send the broadcast message. Yeah. So my WhatsApp has crashed. So I cannot send. Okay, should I take these questions then for fun? What if the client is not accepting this condition? The client will not come to you. And your role is not to make the client, your diagnosis is this. You have to believe me, trust me, you diagnose this. No, that is not your role, right? Your role is to tell the client, you are living this dysfunction, hopeless life. Whatever is your diagnosis, whatever is not your diagnosis, I don't care. I will tell you certain things to become functional, from dysfunction to functional. You cannot find out whether the client is telling truth. Whatever they say, you assume that it is truth. We are not detectives, we are not CID. Okay, I like that Arun question. If a client asks, how many sessions will I require? You give them realistic timeline. You tell them, you start with 5 sessions with me. Okay, give me a commitment of 5 sessions for next 15 to 20 days. You will feel the beneficial effect of 20 to 30% or maybe 50%. That should be our success benchmark. Okay. You have complete normal life. It may take 3 months, 6 months, or maybe beyond. Okay. So give them very realistic timeline rather than saying, okay, after few sessions, I will tell you. So they will think then, okay, you are doing time pass for 3-4 sessions, and after that, okay. So you tell them that there is no magic. It is not going to happen. Also ask them, since how long you have been suffering? If someone says few years you have been suffering. I don't have a magic to make you good within 1 month or 1 day, right? How many counselors have you visited? 5 counselors, 10 counselors. Yes. So now you have come to the best place. You have come to the good counselor. I will tell you the tips. I will tell you the solution. I will do your psychotherapy if you are trained with us. I will do your marriage counseling. So you start feeling good, but this will take time. 1 month, 3 months, 6 months. Okay. Sometimes the client may ask, what about my medicines? You say that you continue these medicines, what your doctor is giving. Okay. When you take the medicines, side effects are more initially, but they decrease slowly. Beneficial effects increase slowly. Both of them come to a plateau later. To not drop out. Uh, and you don't want to continue this medicine's lifetime, right? At certain point, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, you want to stop it under consultation of psychiatrist. That's why my role is there. You visit me frequently. Do you have someone to talk? No. Do you have someone to gossip? Come to me for gossip. Huh. Okay. That client will not come to you, Rupali. That is a good question, Ankita. Okay. So now, how frequently you should meet the client? So that depends on your mutual convenience. That depends on the client's condition. You tell them when you want to meet me. After 2 days, 3 days, once a week, twice a week. Okay. If you are doing such psychotherapy techniques, then you may need to meet the client initially for certain traumatic memories. You may need to meet daily. Then maybe alternate day, right? Or maybe once a week, going ahead. So Teju has asked a very interesting question. So what to do if parents bring the client and the client is not ready to talk? If the client is a child, then counseling is to be done first for the parents. To identify what is your self-diagnosis of Google or your corrupted school counselor, she has done some wrong diagnosis. Number two, if it is an adult, it is very less likely that adult will come to you because parents have forced them to go. Okay, they are not goat or sheep. You ask, you can tell them still if it happens, you can tell them that, see, I'm here to help you. I'm non-judgmental, I'm non-biased. I'm not going to invalidate your feelings. I'm not going to share with your parents what you talk. If there is something you want to talk, you can talk to me. If you think you need help, you can talk. So I am not a pravachan wala baba where you come sit in front of me and I will speak pravachan, right? So you speak, then I will give some pravachan, right? So if you think that I will help you, if you think you need help, client says very abruptly or very arrogant, they don't need your help. No problem. Whenever you think you need help, you can come back. Okay. So you should not talk to the Raksha has asked a very interesting question. Sometimes the parents, they're not comfortable that a counselor talks to the child. They are not comfortable that a counselor talks to the child alone. You have no right. As a counselor, you should not request the parent to do that. Okay. We should always assume that parents would like to be there. Now, sometimes in the story, if you feel that or parents feel that the child wants to speak to you something because you are an outsider, then you can tell the parent that I think I should talk to the child. Okay. And if parents say yes, then only. Otherwise, you have no right because your client is not the child. Client is the parent who are paying you. And most of the child counseling, you need to do parent counseling. Sometimes they come up with their own diagnosis, their own something. They come up that the child has this thing, my God. They think the child has autism, ADHD, depression, all those conditions they will come. Okay. So sometimes they have unrealistic expectation. So you need to tell them that, I will tell you how is about the good parenting tips. So in the rephrasing way, you are saying that you are a bad parent. I will tell you how to be a good parent. Okay. Correct. Why should a child need a counseling? My firm belief is that no child is born with any condition which demands counseling for the child. It is a parent who need counseling either for themselves, they have certain voice going on in their head, or they need to learn how to do the correct parenting. All of you enjoyed the session? Okay. One important point, I feel. Okay. So Arun has written a very interesting point. We should not be writing in front of the client. So there are two ways to write. Okay. A poor counselor. How will she write? Client is speaking and you are writing your history and taking the notes. Very bad, right? Because you are not engaging the client. That is wrong. You should remember the history. You should remember the names. You should remember the event and circumstances. Only few things you should write. So now the today's worksheet which you have made, okay, that is something you will write along with the client. Okay, it's not something you will hide and then write. Okay, and the client is talking. It is something first preference is you will tell the client, okay, speak up and then start writing along with me. Okay, if the client doesn't want to write, then you write on behalf of the client and the client is telling you write, and then you discuss also in the between. Okay, you give some suggestions also. You give some hints also. Enjoyed? Very good. So that's great. I also enjoyed interacting with you. We'll meet on Wednesday for marriage counseling. So in marriage counseling, you learn more than 20 relationship tests. In the market, there are marriage counselors, they are talking from their own wisdom. They are watching some Sasbo serial. They are watching their own broken marriages or good marriages. They give their own examples in front of clients. Wrong. So you will learn more than 20 relationship tests to identify whether there is a problem with respect, trust, anger, stonewalling, criticism, love, compatibility. So you do it very scientific. When you run a relationship test, each test takes, the client gets involved with you, both the couple, even single. Then you also learn 120 couple activities, how to help the client. Okay, with those couple activities. First, to identify the problem through the relationship test, very scientific. Then you solve those problems, 50% of them, by opening up the communication. Some of the problems you can solve with the couple activities. Okay. If you have any question, you can WhatsApp me separately. My timing is Monday to Friday, 1 to 5 p.m. Okay. Wednesday is 6 p.m. for those who have enrolled for marriage counseling. Those who are not enrolled, you can ask me to send you the link for to enroll. Yes, we'll do that. Simran will take that. Very good. Okay, enjoyed. Be in touch. Thank you, everyone. Have a great time.